campers, and this is Tales from the Campfire Podcast.
Take us into battle.
Let's go.
That's what you said last time. But every
Why are we battling?
podcast is a battle because we need to battle the normies with trying to make cryptids better known and more fun and more of a household thing instead of only losers think about that.
You know Bigfoot's not real. My cousin hunts for a living and he's never seen Bigfoot.
You know, also, he's never seen a solid relationship.
Oh,
But
deeper.
I'm in one, and I believe in Sasquatch, so take that, you bunch of normies.
I just get people like, what's that?
What's a creptad?
Oh, you
Is
mean
it
like
crypto?
you mean like Loch Ness monster?
Like NFTs? Like
Tell you what,
Bitcoin?
fucking Bitcoin has made looking up cryptid stuff way harder because you type in like crypt and all of a sudden it's just like crypto, and it's
NFT, Dogecoin.
yeah. You go onto Reddit and it's just like a bunch of fucking posts about crypt. Yeah. Anyways, hello, campers. Wait, no, I'm not supposed to read that part. That's in the intro.
That's me.
That's you. I am one of your camp counselors, Keegs. I am joined by Kev
What up?
and Ruth this week.
Hello.
We don't have Manny because
His
his
car took a poo-poo.
big old poo poo, and then
Poop.
you know he couldn't get the part in time, and
Get
he
that fart in there.
he-
It's too much poop.
he lives like 2 cities away, and it's a whole thing. We miss him dearly, especially for the second episode. But you know what? It's like the movies. The second one's never going to be as good as the first.
No,
anyways.
he's here in spirit.
He's
like,
here,
Kind of like that,
yeah.
like weird translucent soul, like in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So is that doll that I touched at the thrift store?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
shouldn't have touched that.
We are here to tell you tales of the creepy, the weird, and the highly strange. This week we'll be talking about the Mongolian Death Worm.
Mongolian lightning wiener.
I'm sure that's going to sound great in people's ears.
Tell me some sweet nothing.
I think about you when I buy hammers.
All right. Yeah, so just catching up from last week, our first episode did pretty good. I didn't look to see how many downloads it got or all that business, but I know a lot of people were like, "Hey, good job, guys! It sounded great," and they're playing it at the shop down at
Dice ENT.
Dice ENT.
Shameless plug.
yeah, which is I don't know how I feel about that because on one hand I'm like sick, all my friends and like some of my coworkers and stuff, they're listening to the podcast, but on the other hand I'm like, you got clients in there who are listening to me like making fapping noises into the microphone.
Well, they're getting like their hair done or their nails.
Yeah.
Like, what
Sounds
the
great.
fuck is happening here?
Oh, that's my husband.
So, fun fact, some of this is still trapped under my nails while I'm touching your face and hair.
Yeah, and then like my poor sister is like asking on Facebook where she can listen to it. I'm like, oh no,
You're never going to listen to this.
you
Just
probably
don't.
listen.
Just don't.
We're not that kind of family. Like, you probably shouldn't listen.
Like, mommy, Keegan's saying dirty things.
Why does my sister sound like she's 10 years old and you're
I don't know how old your sister is.
Yeah, but I'm proud of that first episode.
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was great. I listened to it twice.
For anyone that doesn't know, Ruth is Kevin's fiance, and Kevin is Ruth's fiance. It's a
Would
street.
have ever guessed?
Yeah. Ruth was on the show last week as well, but we've signed her on as a producer. So going forward, when Manny is here, I think Ruth might end up having her own microphone so she can chime in fun facts along the way and help us out if we need help with anything.
Well, she's really good at on-the-spot research. Like, as we're conversing about what it is we're talking about, she's on her phone and or laptop just coming up with, like, hard facts.
Right.
Like,
Already trying to.
so, but I mean, Keegan's got a story he's going to go over, and you're going to hear a lot. So, trust me, this is a good one.
I think that's why I enjoyed it so much.
This is a
because
good one.
I was focused on finding research that I was like, I don't know what was talked about.
Yeah. I wrote another story this week. Me and Kevin were talking about this the other day, but I used to write a lot, and I enjoy writing stuff. So this has been a great opportunity for me to write, I guess.
Right. I thought you said ride.
Well, I mean,
too.
And I'm like, ride what?
A horse, a motorcycle, a bike, unicycle, skateboard, roller skates,
what are those one-wheel things called?
unicycles,
No, the electric things that people.
one wheel.
The one.
What are those one wheel?
Okay, that's officially
One
2
wheel.
weeks in a row that I go, oh, what is this thing called?
Literally, you just call
Yeah.
it by name.
I can't remember what it was last week, but I know it's something to do with churros or something.
Oh, you guys are trying to roll R's?
Yeah.
Churro.
I do want to say a thank you before we get started to
You're welcome.
Dice. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
I want to say thank you to Dicey and T and DJ Kazi for remixing our intro song a little bit. And
So good.
yeah, grabbing those sound bites that you guys heard of Kevin in the beginning, and you'll hear one at the end too. The one at the end is distinctively different than
Much.
last week's. So stay tuned after the outro song for that. Yeah, and we're not sponsored by them or anything. Just a
Nope.
big thank you. We actually don't have sponsors yet. Believe
If
it or
you
not.
want to, absolutely hit us up at
Tales from the Campfire Podcast at gmail.com.
that is the plug.
That's the plug. We are on Instagram, Tales from the Campfire Podcast. We are not on Facebook because Facebook is fucking lame. Maybe at some point we will be. And then, of course, you're listening to us, so you know where to find us audio-wise. Yeah, let's get this shit rolling and play the age-old classic game, Encrypted Wiki.
Cryptid Wiki.
Oh my god, it's still on Manta Man. I gotta find my way back to the actual wiki.
Yes, man to man.
Okay. Cryptids. Y'all see 50 Cent hanging upside down?
Dude, he was upside down.
That's a cryptid right there, upside down 50 Cent.
So many
Or
people
50
are
Cent.
like, why
That was
is he hanging
05.
upside down? I'm like, his music video?
Yeah.
Duh. That's how we met 50 Cent. Upside down.
Yeah, when we're like 12.
Yeah.
Literally waiting to go to school, watching MTV and all the music's playing. Yeah, I remember those days. It was a long time ago since,
MTV.
MTV's actually played music,
Yeah.
instead of like pregnant 16-year-olds and, gross stuff like that.
I don't know, when I feel like I watched more music on VH1 and what was the other one? There was a channel,
And they had like Kickstarter in the morning.
because like on cable or on Dish, it would go like MTV, VH1, and then there was one channel above that. It was like something Wire, or
Oh, I can't
it
remember.
played like a lot of like alternative and punk stuff.
Right, yeah, that was the one that I watched the most.
Oh,
'Cause
man,
I couldn't
what was
stand
that
that,
one
like,
called?
Ludacris back in the day. It was just like, oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
I listen to everything.
I feel like that's just like our generation may have been the last generation that would get ready for school in the
And
morning
watch music videos.
and watch music videos.
Here's the thing, like, music videos are only on, like, YouTube nowadays. You don't see them on TV anymore.
Right.
You don't
To
see it on
look
TV
up
anymore.
specifically.
And that's such
Yeah.
a shame because these people spend buku bucks on their music videos, too. Like,
I know.
a lot of fucking money on music videos.
I'm on the low budget end of making music videos, and
it's
that
still a pretty decent amount, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But the sad part is, like, yeah, now it's only on, like, Vivo or whatever it was called. Like, Vivo, it's like a channel
Yeah,
on
Vivo.
YouTube.
Vivo.
It's VEVO.
Yeah, Vivo.
Vivo or Vevo. I don't even know.
That
Who
was
cares?
like when YouTube was first coming up and people started putting music videos on it. It was Vivo. It was like Eminem Vivo. Like that was the official channel for every artist, was their name with the Vivo after it.
Exactly.
And I don't know if they like produce the videos or whatever, but
We're getting off topic.
well, yeah, we're way off topic.
Also, Eminem was there too.
Yeah, Eminem was
man.
there too.
He only played one song.
But
Well-
no, it made me miss LA a little bit because I was like, man, I remember listening to these songs in my Jeep, going, driving down the freeway, driving past a Staples Center. It's not even called Staples Center anymore.
What is it called now?
I know it was
Something else.
like Meta, I think it is.
I don't.
I think they changed it to Meta. I'm not even sure, but either way, it's stupid. It's always going to be Staples Center in my heart because that's LA for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people are
My heart beats
making fun of
fast.
50 Cent, but like,
You got a dad bod. You got chubby.
dude, he looks good for his age.
He
though.
does. No, he looks great for his age.
Especially
I'm not even
hanging
talking
upside
shit.
down.
Right?
I would not look that good hanging upside down.
I don't
trying
think
to
any of
see.
us would.
Everyone was like, was he hanging upside down the whole time? I'm like, no, he literally just got up there as soon as they like transitioned.
Yeah, he's probably sitting on top of it and then just like swung down last minute. But
No,
it
you
was.
see him grab it and he like flips.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you're
Okay.
watching like on YouTube, when you
Yeah.
rewatch it, it shows him getting up
It was
there.
cool though.
Yeah.
I think it was good for our generation to have that.
Yeah.
Kind of that
Nostalgia.
reality check. It's like, hey, this is what we used to listen to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being with the kids.
Let's see. I think Kevin, I went with you first last week. So
Yes, you did.
Ruth, pick a number between 1 and 26.
Let's do 21.
21. Okay, we're doing 21. That is you.
You do have Katie.
Tannen has just joined in, and he is now laying on my lap. So when I run out of a beer, I'm not going to have any more because I can't get up.
How do you get up there? Oh, I'm dumb.
Like I told you earlier, I can never have this chair to myself when I work because the second I sit down, he jumps in my lap when I'm in this chair immediately.
It's his home.
He likes being there.
Kevin,
Yes.
pick a letter in the alphabet.
F.
F. Oh, perfect.
It's for fire that
All
burns
right.
down the whole town.
U was for uranium.
So we can either do a cryptid called Euphidy or UFO. I would say probably Euphidy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because we were just talking about 50 Cent. That
Yeah.
seems fitting. Euphidy, hanging upside down.
You fitty.
Fitty.
You fitty.
All right, so Euphidy is a female chimpanzee from native folklore of Malawi people and reported to live in Nkata Bay. Nkata Bay. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm trying my best. It's Nkata. Nkata?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay. Nkata Bay is on the western shores of Lake Nyasa, Malawi. Chimpanzee is native of Congo jungle. Who wrote this? Chimpanzee is native of Congo jungle, far away from
Chimpanzee.
Malawi. The nearest colony is in Nukungwe Mountains of Tanzania, which is still far enough. This is just not written well.
But here's the thing. Also, we're also like extremely white. So I mean, if we're just butchering this,
No, it's reading like it was written by someone whose English is not their first
It
language.
was Euphidy.
chimpanzee, native to Unkatu.
I'll try to clean it up. So the report of the sighting is ignored until its capture near Limpasa River, which surprised zoologists. I'm trying. That was me cleaning up the
trying.
sentence. Euphidy reported to be curiously watching the road and bridge construction in the vicinity of Limpasa River shortly before its capture. I don't understand what any of that means.
No.
It's a female
sounded like-
chimpanzee.
Dude, there's just a female chimpanzee that just people don't understand. I mean, she's different.
It's not
Get
native
over
to
it.
that area, I guess.
That was an error.
Oh, yeah. This one was lame. We should have done UFO.
Let's
Dude,
do it.
Just do it. Let's make up for it because the listeners don't want to read about just a normal female chimpanzee that was just happened to be somewhere where it wasn't supposed to be.
Supposed to.
Yeah.
Just wound up there.
How's that even a cryptid? That's just a normal ass monkey.
I mean, this is a wiki, so anyone could like add shit to it.
This is also true.
So I was like, it's probably a high schooler that created it.
He know the way.
UFOs are unidentified flying objects.
Woo!
Um,
An airplane.
I mean, I could read it, but everyone knows what it is.
Everybody does know what it is. It's just the fact that we don't know what it is.
All right, just in case anyone doesn't know what it is. Some believe sightings to be misidentification and or hoaxes, and most are. Some believe sightings to be of atmospheric beasts, while others believe sightings to be of demons or other spirits. But most believers in the phenomenon say they are extraterrestrial spacecraft, and most say the existence of said extraterrestrials, man, I nailed that the first time I read it, is being covered up by one or more governments. See also Men in Black. I would love to do a episode on Men in Black at some point.
For sure.
They creep me out.
You don't really hear about them anymore. It was like a big thing back in the day. Yeah, maybe we'll have a better wiki next week.
Better wiki.
Wah, wah.
Bum, 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 bum.
I enjoyed Man to Man a lot more.
Man to Man
Yeah,
was so
Man to
much
Man.
cooler.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Just Nacho Libre.
You fitty?
Fair.
Nah.
It's just
Ignacio.
Nacho Libre.
All right.
I was trying to. How do you spell you fitty?
UFITI. Ufitty. I think that's what it was. I guess it's time to jump into today's topic. That seems really fast, but
Right. I mean, we could come up with a filler.
I mean, the pacing is going to be different, I guess, every week depending on that. I did try to look up National Enquirer. We talked about that last week.
Right, yeah.
And apparently it is near impossible to find National Enquirer articles, like the old ones.
Really?
I guess they sell for really well if you have like old National Enquirer magazines.
Shit, I had no idea. I thought
yeah.
I always saw those in like checkout stands, like in the grocery
Yeah.
store.
Apparently because of the nature of what it is, it just gets tossed out a lot.
Right.
And because it was paper, like a newspaper, it's not like a magazine where it has a cover and it's going to hold up well to the test of time.
Right.
So
right.
that was just a really interesting find, just to find that out. Like I even went to their website and they want you to pay just to read their modern stuff, but they don't have a back catalog.
I bet you if you go on like Reddit, they probably do.
I looked, man. I couldn't find that shit anywhere.
Even Reddit failed us. Jeez.
Yeah, so then I went to Reddit for that, and then while I was on Reddit, I was trying to look up like cryptid stories, like real encounters people are posting and shit like that. I couldn't find anything with that either.
Really?
Which is strange because this is not the only podcast like this.
Right. Absolutely. We're looking at you. Last podcast on the left.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep digging. I'm gonna see if I can't find what's going on.
What?
Oh no, you good? Keep going. I'm just asking my fiance to get up to get me another beer.
Oh,
Because
I'm further than. Oh, you have cat.
I have
Oh.
cat.
Yeah, I forgot.
I have little blind boy sitting in my lap. Tannen has joined the party. He should be a cryptid all on its own.
our
Just the top shelf left.
we just find our
Big beer.
mascot, blind cat, a blind ball-tailed cat.
Can. Top shelf.
No, I moved all your cans to the bottom shelf.
Did you move my cans?
All yours are on the
There
left
you
side.
go. That's the one.
I restocked.
Nice. Stella Artois.
I restocked our mini fridge up here.
I like how you're calling it ours. I really appreciate that.
This is
I'm
our
glad-
studio now.
I'm
Deal with
glad.
it.
I'm glad we can share. You're not gonna like that.
Oh man.
Like the second I started going for the phone, I'm like, oh, you're not gonna like that. That.
Yeah, I
that
mean
was
there are
entertaining.
those
I wish
weird
we had a
little
camera for that
vodka
one.
beer things in there, and then there's wine. It's all hipster stuff because it came from our hotel, so it's just
Hipster stuff.
yeah. You know, our new mascot might have to be a blind ball-tailed cat. That was the first thing we ever talked about was a ball-tailed
It
cat.
really is, though.
And now we got Tannen here, who's just amazing, and he's like a super cat because he like listens to you when you're talking across.
He really
the room.
is.
And for somehow he knows where to jump and how to jump.
Yep.
which is amazing for a cat jumping 4 feet onto a countertop.
Yeah, but he's so cute because he likes to be in here because we're talking, and he'll
He likes
face
to listen.
whoever's talking. Like he's just facing me, and then when you were talking,
He'll face me again. Hey, Tannen. Hey, buddy.
Such a
Hi.
good boy.
I like you.
You know, once you get into the level of trust, he will jump in your lap eventually, and he'll sit there the whole
I'm
time.
cool
Because
with
he's
that.
not going to move this whole time. I promise.
Spirit animal.
He's such a good boy.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into today's topic.
Let's jump into this crazy thing that we found.
I'm so excited.
So
Kevin
I
got a
came
sneak
up
peek.
with this thing. I told Keegan to just look up lesser known cryptids.
Please, my friends call me Keegs, at least on this podcast.
Oh my god. Okay. I asked Keegs.
It's so much cuter.
Keegs. Especially when you drag out the S a little bit. Keegs.
Yeah.
So I asked him to look up lesser known cryptids because everyone knows Sasquatch, everyone knows Mothman, everyone knows the Chupacabra, everyone knows all that stuff, but the lesser known cryptids, and we just happened upon this fucking beautiful.
It was the first one in the article.
Beautiful cryptid I've never heard of before, and I am so happy.
Well, here's the thing, is you have heard of it, but you didn't know that the movie Tremors was based off of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But the fact that Tremors is just such an embellishment, though, like,
Yeah.
this is, one, it's less impressive in size, but two, it's got a secret weapon.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god, this secret
Well,
weapon.
two.
No.
It's got two secret
It's got
weapons,
two
It's got-
but one of them
But
is
one
way
of them
more
Yeah.
epic
is
than the other one.
very impressive. Until, like, I
Yeah.
gotta let you read the story. I don't want to give it away. But oh my god, this is
You guys
probably
will...
this is probably the best thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. Like, of looking up these animals and these random beings that no one's ever heard of. This one swept us off our feet easily.
Yeah.
Just within the first 2 lines, we're like, what? Oh my god!
All right. You guys will know what we're talking about when I get to it in this story.
Let's get this rolling.
I saved it for the good sweet spot at the end. So
No,
All
if
right.
one of you don't get it tattooed on you.
Oh, here's the thing: if you get a tattoo of this cryptid,
I'll get on my forehead like I'm Harry Potter.
no,
my
I mean,
God,
like,
no.
here's the thing: if you get a tattoo, I mean, anybody listening gets a tattoo of this cryptid, we'll give you a shout out. I mean, if you come to visit us, I will put you up, and you'll be on our next podcast.
But you have to get on your forehead like Harry Potter. All right. Have you been working on your Swedish accent?
I haven't been able to nail it.
All right, let's just do
It's-
close
it's-
enough.
Show
If
me.
it's German, it's okay.
I mean, I'll do what I can.
Okay, let's do it. We're going to start off with the story of Frank, a man who bravely hunted the death worm over 100 years ago with explorer Sven Anders Heden.
But we didn't tell them what cryptid we were going.
I did at
after.
the beginning. It's
Yeah.
we're talking about the Mongolian Death Worm.
There we go. I just wanted to reiterate.
Reiterate. Yeah, I
Reiterate.
appreciate that.
If people don't remember what we were talking about, because we were talking about music videos and cats and beer
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and we're
We're-
talking about this Mongolian death worm
We're
from frickin'
25
hell.
minutes in,
We got this.
and we haven't started the story yet. So
All right, we got to do.
I always tell Ashley, my wife, that the first 8 minutes of any podcast is trash.
but
I
it's gotta
typically
there's got to be a
skip it.
hook somewhere. That's
Yeah.
the problem. you
My
know?
wife, I have this wife.
My wife. All right.
My wife, very nice.
Let me get my announcer voice going. The rain fell on Sven's long-brimmed hat, and he peered at me over his small spectacles. I've seen this look before. It's the same one he casted my way back on the train when I told him about the creature living in this wasteland.
That was like
All right.
probably the most amazing thing
This-
ever. Because I wasn't paying attention, and I was
Not even
literally
looking at the
just
script.
I was literally just gonna go push out a fart, and you just happened to point at me.
How many farts I had to cut out last
You
week?
just happened to point at me right when I did it. That was
You
amazing.
have Kevin on the podcast.
Tales from
Hello.
Kevin's Ass podcast.
Farts.
Hello, campers.
Straight
Here's your
farts.
can of beans.
The rain fell on Sven's long-brimmed hat, and he peered at me over his small spectacles. I've seen this look before. It is the same one he casted my way back on the train when I told him about the creature living in this wasteland.
What do you think these men massacred by the same creature you spoke of before,
Sir, look here at these burns. I told the nearest man who was missing an ear and was covered with what looked like blisters and scorch marks over most of his body. These wounds are consistent with the stories. I saw a man once who was struck only the day before by a bolt of lightning. The poor soul lost his life, as well as this man, but the burns, they are the same. This is our creature. Sven waved over a young man named Trav, who had signed up for the expedition party back at the train station in town.
Trav, I would like you to walk 100 paces towards the sun, waving these yellow flags. Keep an eye on the sand around you, your boots as you go, so if any seem to be moving beneath the sand, call out.
Yes, sir,
says Trav, before sprinting away to the flags. We brought several colors with us on this trip, under the advice of the locals: blue, red, and yellow. Each seems to have a particular effect on the creature, yellow being the most dangerous, signaling to it what is essentially a dinner bell. Young Trav, only 15 or 16, doesn't yet realize he was added to this party merely to be bait. Sven and I pace in silence, watching the ground around our feet constantly for movement. 15 minutes or so pass before we see Trav's face peeking over a dune.
Damn, he's coming back. We must not have been quick enough.
Sir, I point in Trav's direction.
The sand, it moves behind him. Frank, the creature's still here after all.
A grin breaks across Sven's mustached face. Trav sees me pointing and looks over his shoulder behind him, clearly having seen the lump in the sand quickly moving towards him. He begins to run towards us. He dips once again below the edge of a dune, and a scream breaks the silence, then a horrifying sound, like thunder in a bottle. The darkening sunset sky briefly lights up in a flash.
Go, go! Now, you fools!
Sven shouts to the local men near us, men hired more for their foolishness than for their tracking skills. Now, tracking skills, that's my job. I track the creature that's now killing the young man just over the dune's crest. Sven pulls out his pistol. I pull out mine. The men disappear over the crest, the setting sun casting their long shadows towards us. Then, more screams, followed by silence.
You must go. Kill it and bring its body back to me and Frank.
Sven says, without so much as casting a glance my way. I swallow the large lump in my throat, knowing I was paid for and brought to this hell called Gobi for this exact reason, for this exact moment. I take one step before the earth explodes beneath my feet, and I am
Flung. I'm flung.
You know, I used to have a fish that was literally called a goby. There's a species of fish called a goby.
Ooh.
Yeah, just like
I didn't know that.
They jump, though.
It's
So,
also
I mean, that's how it died.
desert.
It jumped out of the tank and mummified behind my tank in the little shelving unit.
I swallow the large lump in my throat, knowing I was paid for and brought to this hell called Gobi for this exact reason, for this exact moment. I take one step before the earth explodes beneath my feet, and I am flung past Sven and into the side of the wagon. Stars explode in my eyes, and my vision blurs. I hear the cries of,
No, Frank, help!
followed by gunshots, and suddenly my vision returns to me. Sven is now running past me, green slime covering his hands and arms. An acrid, burnt smell fills the air. The sand beneath my outstretched legs begins to separate. Still dazed, my limbs fail to move me, and spikes of fear rise. My pistol lay in the sand next to the dead man we discovered only minutes ago, his eyes now staring straight at me as I sit on the ground, back against the wagon. The creature, roughly the length of my forearm and tube-like, emerges between my knees. Rows of broken, jagged teeth stick out of the mouth, dripping with the same color of goo Sven was covered in. A drop of it falls, hits my trousers right above the knee. I can feel it burn into me like a hot spike. Moans are now gurgling up my throat. My eyes returning to the creature before me. It has no eyes, no soul. It quickly coils around itself like a snake before it strikes. It lifts its tail into my face. Now the moaning has turned to screams. As I go to kick the monster, it strikes. A bolt of lightning erupts from the worm's rectum,
There it is.
Yes.
Weapon number 2.
punching
Literally.
me right between the eyes. Time slows. I feel my nose crunch and my eyes boil, and I die.
A chef's kiss. Mwah. Right
I-
between the eyes.
I die in the Gobi Desert, killed by a worm that shoots lightning out of its anus.
Anus.
Sven will never tell this tale to any man. He will die peacefully at an old age. Only the scars and forever missing bits of flesh are his reminders of the day he met the death worm and lived. So that's it.
Dude, we are talking about a lightning shitting worm. Like,
That was
this
a
is
great story.
insane. Like I told you, like when we found this thing, when we found out that this is a cryptid that's apparently exists, I couldn't say no.
Yeah.
I couldn't say no to a lightning farting thing, a worm, you know,
Yeah, dude.
Fart.
some sort of like, you know,
Farts out lightning.
seriously,
It's like a
come on.
superhero worm, like, but the worst kind of superhero.
It's a super villain.
Yeah.
This is way crazier than Doc Ock. I'd be more scared of this thing than Doc Ock, let's be honest.
All right. So I sourced this following passage from Tony Merkel's The Confessionals podcast, their official website. Some Mongolians say I know I'm going to mispronounce this. Some Mongolians say the Alguhui Korkoi, or intestine worm, which is far easier to say, resembles a 5-foot-long creature that jumps out of the sand and kills people by spitting concentrated acid or shooting lightning from its rectum over long distances.
I just can't get over
Dude,
that.
it's
so wild.
yeah. Said to be red and resembling a cow's intestines, it is allegedly found deep in the Gobi Desert. While it spends most of its time living underground, desert locals say it surfaces often during months of June and July when it rains.
That's funny because I'm trying to get a hotel reservation in June.
In the Gobi Desert.
No, not in the Gobi Desert in Portland. Jerks. Not saying who it is, but you know who you are.
There was an exploration in 2005 led by cryptoologist Richard Freeman after a village reported a sighting of the Mongolian Death Worm. While the cryptid was not discovered during the expedition, Freeman did find that the whole village had oddly shifted positions from its original base.
It's because they couldn't withstand the farts anymore, man.
No, man.
They couldn't
no.
withstand it.
Lightning booty.
Lightning booty.
It's one powerful butt.
And then I grabbed this. So this is from a book, On the Trail of Ancient Man by Roy Chapman Andrews. Roy Chapman Andrews. It's the only way I can say that for some reason. From 1926. This is a bit long and wordy, but this is the actual, from what I could find, the first account of the Mongolian Death Worm. And it should be noted before we move on that the tales that we tell here are fictional, usually.
Some.
Yeah, I know I
Kinda.
kind of touched on that in the beginning. I don't know if that made it into the cut of this, but
You shouldn't be going into the Gobi Desert being afraid of this.
no. I mean, Sven was a real guy who explored the Gobi Desert back in the day, but as far as we know, he didn't go looking for the death worm. Anyways, so back to this book. This is just a passage I'll try to get through real quick because it's important that we read it because it is the first mention of the death worm. The premier asked that, if it were possible, I should capture for the Mongolian government a specimen of the Lagorhai Horhai. I doubt whether any of my scientific readers can identify this animal. I could, because I had heard of it often. None of those present had ever seen the creature, but they all firmly believe in its existence and described it minutely. It is shaped like a sausage.
Just
A
can't get
powerful
over-
sausage.
Kevin's German
cannot
senses
get
are
over
tingling.
that because the German in me is like, oh great, we catch this thing, throw it on the barbecue, perfect. Like,
Eat it good.
dude, it's gonna be some.
Put
That's
some
gonna
mustard
be,
on
It's
it.
gonna be spicy.
Holy shit! Like that's gonna be a good
With the
sausage.
lightning.
Like seriously, I don't give a shit if it's a worm, but if you describe it to me as a sausage,
Well, it said it can be up.
dude,
It's 2 to 7 feet long.
dude, a 7-foot sausage. Like let's think about this. I could eat that thing.
I
Go
like
ahead.
that.
I dare you.
I don't
What
eat-
cryptid can
Here's the
Kevin
thing.
eat?
That death worm should be afraid of me. That thing is gonna look at me like the killer. It's like I'm gonna take one look at that. Like, yup, that's going
Yeah.
up in the barbecue, and I'm eating that thing.
Especially because it ties into your ancestral beliefs of the Vikings with lightning. You know?
Right, because Thor doesn't live in that thing's ass. Let's be honest here.
Maybe he does. You don't know.
Dude, I'll free him. I'll free him. I'll find that thing, and I'll let him
Where
go.
Thor is.
I'm going to eat it ass first and get Thor out.
You know, when someone looks at you dead in the face and go, you eat ass? Be like,
Only worms.
yeah.
I eat the worms' asses.
As long as I throw that thing on barbecue first, it's going to be good shit.
Oh, okay. It is shaped like a sausage and about 2
Sausage.
feet long, has no head nor legs, and is so poisonous that merely to touch it means instant death.
Fatality.
It's gonna be Mortal Kombat.
The cabinet minister stated that the cousin of his late wife's sister had also seen it. I promised to produce the Alagorhai Horhai if we chance it across his path, and explained how it could be seized by means of long steel collecting forceps. And then he just kind of goes on. That's all it says about the death worm
So that
in this
whole book, and he only mentions it in like a
Yeah,
paragraph.
the book itself is more about like finding where man came from,
I'm trying to see
and
where Genghis Khan went wrong.
he talks a lot about dinosaur eggs in that book. But
Dinosaur eggs, like the oatmeal kind, like where you put some water in it and they go from eggs to dinosaur, and then
Yeah,
you can eat
yeah.
them, and they're made of sugar. And
yeah, they were obsessed with oatmeal
oh my
in
god,
the Gobi.
I
and
need to read this book.
Yeah, they complained because they were a little too mushy.
Well,
You
here's
know,
the thing,
when
you
you
don't
eat-
add enough water, it becomes like
Charred
hot
eggs.
barf, and then when you add too much water, it becomes soup.
It just becomes. Yeah,
It becomes
Mush.
diarrhea in
Yeah.
a sense.
you want those eggs to be a little crispy so you have texture.
Exactly, like a little bit of a crunch has never been a bad thing.
And only ever once in a while you'll bite into one and an actual baby dinosaur will be in there. If that happens, I think the Chinese consider that good luck.
That is
So-
what is it, the century egg, whatever they call that like disgusting
Oh.
fermented like
Yeah, the
if you
fermented
bite into
one.
an egg and there is just a straight up animal fetus in there, like I'm pretty sure that doesn't mean good luck. That means you fucked up.
Yeah, that means hot snakes are in your near future.
This is
Bubblegum
bubblegum
hot
hot snakes.
snakes.
Oh, I love it.
In 1990 and 1992, Ivan Mackerel led small groups of companions into the Gobi Desert to search for the worm.
Upriver to lay
He
eggs
was-
and spawn.
He was actually inspired by a little-known.
Sorry.
Are they
It
salmon?
was called mackerel. I wanted to make a fish joke, even if that's not with the mackerel, because I know they're like.
It's not even
sea
spelled that
animal.
way.
I know.
It's the
but
only way I know how to say that word.
Say
that name.
sea animal?
Well, yeah, because they live in the ocean.
Does mackerel live in? Oh, they do.
Oh my gosh! You just put that on podcast. People are gonna listen to that.
It's the whitefish.
You know,
Um,
because the salmon, they
I
can
don't know
sometimes be in the
fish.
ocean for a short time, but they're mostly freshwater. Mostly.
Mostly.
Get that bear food.
Yeah, so this guy, Mackerel, was
Holy mackerel.
inspired by, I don't know, you guys may or may not have heard of this, but it's a book called Dune.
Oh, do you mean the one that just came out on film not that long ago?
Yeah, the remake movie. With,
Oh my goodness, the
remake.
one that
Khal Drogo
actually
and
inspired Star
Zendaya?
Wars.
yeah.
That little thing.
Yeah, so he was apparently a super
wanna watch
fucking
that.
nerd enough to go to the Gobi Desert and look for a sandworm. He constructed a motor-driven thumper and even used small explosions to try to find it.
Yeah, the motor-driven little rabbit from Bambi, if you can think about that.
Yeah.
Motor-driven.
I've never seen Bambi.
Thumper.
Oh, the little rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the little gray guy.
Can't say nothing nice at all. I can't. Nope.
You fucked that
I
up.
only had one alcohol.
you
That was a good Ducky impersonation.
don't say nothing at all.
Um,
Pretty flower?
As we alluded to before, the 1990 film Tremors was pretty much inspired by the Death Worm. It features, if anyone hasn't seen that, I can understand Dune, but everyone's seen Tremors.
Dude, if you haven't seen the bacon do the tremors, then...
The bacon do
the Tremors. Kevin
If you
Bacon.
haven't seen the bacon do the Tremors, then you're watching
Cowboy
too
boots.
much other things that you shouldn't be watching.
You're literally under a rock. Grow up.
The film features a large worm-like creature that emerges from the sandy deserts of, I didn't know how to word that, small U.S. southwestern town and eats anyone in its path. The adorable moniker Graboid was given to this version of the worm.
So adorable.
There's also
I think it's adorable.
a Mongolian Death Worm movie.
Okay, we need to stop with the C-rated movies.
I think this is like F-rated. I don't know.
I'm
This
telling
came out in
you, guys,
2010.
If you really want
on
us
eBay.
to do like a Mystery Science Theater 2000 with these awful movies, we absolutely will. I think it'd be great.
I love that show growing up.
It's a
It's
Tremor.
a Graboid on the plaque.
It says
need a
Mongolian
big
Death Worm
plaque.
at the bottom.
A big plaque, kind of like the stuff that grows on your teeth when you don't brush for a few days.
In 2005,
That's what they remove from your mouth.
Exactly.
big wooden boards.
Man, I can't wait to hang my 10 point on this one.
2005, zoological journalist Richard Freeman of the Center of Fortune. You know what? This story's boring. He just thought it was exaggeration when he went.
Hold on. Let me
Show him. Just show him.
Oh, please send that to me.
I will. I'm saving a
Check
bunch
our
of-
Instagram to see what Ruth just showed me. It is a death worm in a suit.
With
Oh
a bowler
my
derby.
goodness.
It's wearing a
And a
bowler
gun.
derby. It has a,
He has a
it has a
gun.
Tommy gun.
Oh my god.
He's got a little
gun.
Tommy gun. He's in a suit too. That's fantastic. But that means he's got a third secret weapon. He's just part of the mafia. He's
Why do you even need a Tommy gun though if you can shoot lightning out your
Because
asshole?
he wants to keep that surprise factor. Because if he
Surprise.
drops his nice pants, like his
trousers.
khakis, he's got some nice khakis on or something like that, and he's just gonna drop them. I mean, it looked like he was wearing a zoot suit in that picture.
Yeah.
If he drops his pants, you know you've messed up bad.
Yeah.
You know, like you've been marked for death, and your execution date is right now.
Surprise.
Like right
lightning
now, the
butt.
second those pants hit the ground, it's over.
Surprise.
It's not even like a pants. It's just gonna be like a tube with like a place to put a belt. I mean, in all
Surprise.
honesty, he could just lift his little tail end if it's like pants. You know, there's gonna be like a hole at the bottom.
How does he walk
How
along?
would he wear pants?
Okay, so now this is a real discussion. How is he gonna wear pants?
It's
All
not
right.
pants. It's pant.
It's a pant.
It's a pant
It's
leg.
a sleeping bag with a place to put a belt.
It's,
I mean, I'm pretty.
it's
I mean,
technically a dress.
Yeah, it's a dress.
skirt. It's kind of like a skirt, but like
it's
a
a
long
pencil
one.
skirt.
Okay, so he definitely got a skirt from somewhere, but who tailored it? Who tailored the suit for this for this
Kevin
Death
Bacon.
Worm? Kevin Bacon tailored the pencil skirt for the Death Worm.
Kevin Bacon has no taste for that.
But do you know why? Do you know why he only did one pant? Because one. No. Do you know why
Why?
he only had space for one pant leg? Because he had a foot loose. That was probably the worst joke. That was the worst joke I've probably ever made in my entire life.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
That was awful.
It was
And
like so bad that I I laughed a little inside, and then like not on the outside.
I mean, I
Pain.
was actually in pain telling that joke.
Yeah.
Like
I'm so proud of you, son.
Physically, I'm crippled.
I'm
Like-
just proud that you could get through something so traumatic as telling that joke.
But here's the thing. At least I'll own it. Like, hey, if I say that's a bad joke, and like I tell some pretty bad jokes. Like, if I say that's a bad joke, it tanked. It's bad.
You got the dad jokes. It's fine.
Dude, the dad jokes are what get me by.
Yeah. A New Zealand television entertainment reporter, David Faria of TV13 News or TV3 News. I know him better from The Dark Tourist on Netflix. He's the host of that.
Very good show. I recommend.
Dude, I love that show.
Yeah.
He took part in the expedition in 2009, but he came up empty-handed as well. You know, he said that he had a bunch of stuff. I did a bunch of looking up about this. He said he had a bunch of footage, and he was going to make a documentary out of it, and all the New Zealand newspapers were like, oh my god, this guy just found the death worm in the Gobi. But literally nothing ever came of it. So,
Right, because even he knew that this was kind of ridiculous. I mean, like, just doing an entire episode solely on a lightning-shitting worm that no one's ever seen is kind of far-stretched. But to actually film and document an actual expedition looking for this thing, like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be lightning-shitting me.
you know,
Lightning shit.
initially I thought this was going to be hell of a fucking cryptid. It's a giant man-eating worm that
Which is
spits
blood red.
acid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
Blood
it's
red.
just
It
a
looks like
giant piece of
intestines.
chorizo in the desert that shits lightning and spits acid with a bunch of teeth.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be fucking awesome to research.
But there's really nothing.
As these things usually turn out, it was a bit lackluster. If this thing does exist, it's probably only a few feet long, with no electro-ass, unfortunately, and it might ooze acid if it does anything at all.
Right.
I feel like giving it oozing acid is probably a stretch. You know, I think Josh Gates, who is the host of Destination Truth, he summed it up pretty well at the end of his episode on it, which I was surprised to find out there was an episode. He says, the dry soil and frigid temperatures of the Gobi Desert are too great a match for any worm. The locals here may have been seeing anything from a desert snake to an acid spring bombardier beetle, which sounds like a cryptid in itself, but it's very real.
The bombardier.
Or perhaps this is just a cautionary tale to scare nomadic children. That reminds me, what was that movie, Ants? You guys ever seen Ants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the beetles that spit acid? I
Yep.
think
Yes.
that might be one of those beetles.
It could be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. I think we can rule out the death worm attacks on our next camping trip to the desolate dunes of the Gobi.
But it only comes out for two months, supposedly.
That's much more hibernation than any cat or any bear that I've heard of.
Hard to find.
Or ferret.
What do you all think out there in podcast listening world? Death worms, real or just another campfire tale?
And remember, campers, don't go wandering too far from the campfire. There are things in the woods watching you, waiting for you to come into the dark.